Hot 100.
Really hot 100. No, we are really hot radio. We are gently, and we are back. Actually, we are really hot radio, and I'm back with Dr. Trey McNair, and I so thank you for coming on here and being a part of this and
Thank you.
sharing. But Dr. Trey, tell us, 'cause, you got this event coming on this Saturday. You tell, what is it?
Well, it is an amazing, absolutely awesome an event centered around recidivism. And the name of the event is called Alternatives to Recidivism Conference and Resource Fair. Some of you may ask, what is different about this conference or resource fair? Well, one of the things is the agenda is totally impromptu. It's more talk centered around how do we hurdle some people that have issues with recidivism. Definitely bringing many of the organizational leaders of reentry together and a lot of resources together that can actually help. One of my humanitarian efforts is to bridge the gap between the streets and the organizations themselves.
Why now?
Why?
Why now?
Well, after receiving my doctoral degree and doing my research dissertation on unlocking the power of emotional intelligence with community and reentry leaders, I just restarted my humanitarian work. I've been doing it for the last 25 years, dealing with youth and dealing with my beloved sister, Rashida Jabbar, which is a powerful, awesome speaker and business consultant, working with her for years, dealing with helping youth. And so this is just another direction to add on to our work.
Okay. Yeah, I had the honor and pleasure of meeting Sister Rashida Jabbar. She is a very beautiful woman, on and off the grid. I love her.
This is true.
Yeah, I love her. I'm not going to go into the details of all of it, but she opened up her door and her heart to total strangers. And yeah, she's just that, she's built that kind of way. She really is. But yeah, Mr. Nathaniel, we got Mr. Trey McNair, Tracy McNair.
Dr. Tracy McNair,
How are you?
how are you? Nice to meet you, brother.
So what we talking about? What we talking about? Fill me in.
We are talking about his conference, his Alternative to Recidivism conference, this Saturday.
This Saturday.
This Saturday.
Yes, I know everybody's free, so everybody can come.
It's
So you
from
know that.
Yeah, I know everybody.
And
She is in America the busiest.
it is from 1 to 5.
Yeah.
It's not as long as some conferences may be, but we're trying this out from that short time span and seeing how it works. It's at Esperanza College, which is part of Eastern University at 4261 North 5th Street in Philadelphia.
Yeah. And so what motivated you to organize a conference of this type?
My dissertation centered around reentry leaders. So this is just another dimension into helping young people have alternatives to recidivism, which is maybe going back to jail or a recurring cycle of making bad or wrong choices. So what I wanted to do is to bring different choices or alternatives to that, which is education, job resources, jobs, if possible, and any resources, mental health resources, because there's an underlining
Is it ever?
elephant in the room with mental health, and within our culture, that's one of the things that we, don't always address. But when little Ray Ray is doing, acting this way and that way, and they trying to medicate it and so on and so forth, and you know, when they're off their meds, then things happen. But maybe they don't have the right resources, or maybe there's alternatives to medication, or holistically, or something to help. The self-medication doesn't always work. That makes it worse.
Right. Definitely.
You know.
Now, when you have conferences of this type or any type, conferences are kind of real complex to put together. There's several moving parts.
Yes, it is.
And something like this, there's a lot of moving parts because you're talking about something essential. You're talking about the components like education, mental and emotional health, and et cetera. Did you partner with anybody to do this, or how did you organize it?
Okay, so most of the reentry leaders that are in Philadelphia that I know, John Dahirel, Jeff Abreneritz. Forgive me, Jeff, if I said that wrong. If you're listening, if I pronounced that wrong. Jev's Human Services. Tracy Fisher. A lot of the reentry leaders that deal with, reentry. The resources, PHMC is coming out to deal with the mental health.
Just for our listeners, who's PHMC?
Philadelphia Mental Health Corporation.
Okay,
Okay, there you go. So, they're coming to do a mental health component. We got some job resources coming there, coming as well. So people that might be interested in jobs, advocates. We have an expunged clinic. So I did a collaboration with the public defender's office. Miss Gray is coming herself. She's taking the time out on Saturday. A lot of people, they say Saturday, that are professional Saturday, but she said, when is it? And she's, coming as well. So her staff is doing, and I thank you for all the volunteers that's volunteering too, that are coming out to do an expungement clinic, to look at people, if they've dealt with them, look at their records and see what, how they can help.
So it sounded like to me that a person facing an issue of reentry and concerned with having the best chances of avoiding recidivism, it sounds like this is like a one-stop shop for such a person.
It could be, yes. I definitely, and then, a lot of people may say, what makes this also different? One of the things is, I'm a case manager by day. So my point of view on helping, in this work is coming from a case manager standpoint. So I want it to be a follow-up. Don't just say, help one person today and not follow up with them.
That was going to be my next question. You jumped right on, because I was going to ask you, I always ask what is it you hope that people will take away with them who visit you, and then what would be the next step? So
right. One of the things I'm definitely going to repeat over and over again, follow up. It's responsibility of, the responsibility falls on the reentry program. It falls on the resource provider, and it also falls on the person that needs help. Sometimes you got to call people on the carpet and say, well, I was there and you didn't help me. What's next? And if you need somebody to advocate for you, that's what I do.
And I got to say this because, I've been for years, I've been intricately involved in the reentry community, trying to get people on the streets. I haven't been active in that way in a few years, but a few years ago I was very active in it. And what I do find is there is no shortage of reentry groups. There's no, you Google it, and just in Philadelphia alone and surrounding areas, I mean, hundreds and hundreds. But yet the recidivism rate continues to climb, the crime rate continues to climb. What are we doing or not doing that's not having the impact that would be desired? What could you suggest?
Working together.
Oh yeah, that's a big, especially in Philly. That's like
everybody's like, yes, it is. It is. I'm gonna keep my piece over here. I don't want you to look at it. I want you to touch it, or and that who falls in the cracks are the people that we need to address. There are people that's in the hood that, although there's all these organizations, Don't know they exist.
Nope.
And don't trust the ones that do exist.
And don't
I
and
run into that a lot.
exactly. So, it makes you question. Well, who are you helping?
Yeah.
So one of my goals is to try to continue to bring them all together. If we have to stop eventually saying to each other, "Well, I don't want to work this person. I don't want to work that person." And you ask them why. I just don't like what they say. Okay, did they do anything to you? No, I just don't like the way they. That's not the right thought process, because that's just keeping the cycle going.
And that, and I can speak for Philadelphia, like I just said, and I'll say it again. I'm not afraid of saying most people know what they say behind closed doors, but Philadelphia is crab central, crab in the barrel central. So when you have people that's holding on to their little
To kind of bring people together, each leader that I asked to come to this, they said yes. They just said where you want me to be, and so that's the first step. When I'm asked, well, who's coming, I just said everybody you already know. They don't say, oh, I'm not doing. Okay. That's the first step. So if that's my little piece and my niche to try to bring people together, then that's what I'm gonna work on.
That's an essential piece.
You know.
That's no small piece to have. That's the missing part.
I want people to understand, it's not a fight. I'm not fighting for what you have. I have my own lane. So, I have not been to jail. I've never been to jail. But I do have the empathy for my fellow man. So because if you are lifted up, then that's what I'm commissioned to do as a man of God. Is to lift my fellow man up. So why not?
So now, what kind of organizing behind the scenes? Because I'm sure you guys aren't just popping up and you're going to attend the conference. Maybe a couple of them. But was there some type of, like, behind the scenes, forming a coalition or dialogue going on in preparation of this? And I'm talking about the participants, not the people you hope to attend. But I'm talking about those who will be a part of the groups, the organizations, the so-called leaders that you talk about.
Well, no, it wasn't formulated like that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I'm hoping for is that all these reentry leaders that have followings and know people share the information, and inform them, share the advertisement so people can come and we can work together. That's my goal. I just hope that they did it. But in the interim of that, I did my own promo. I went in the hood and say, hey, and they respected that. So it wasn't anything formulated. It wasn't, it was, okay, I see a need, let me do it. And I did it. To God be the glory. Because doors was opening, and it was only him that opened it, for real.
Now, of course, I got to get a little more specific. Now you got to pique my interest.
I'll tell you that when Sonia invites me to come after the conference.
Yes.
I want to know what doors are open.
Doors have opened. Doors have opened. Just like I said earlier, everybody that's involved in the conference volunteered their time. Sponsors.